All right, so hi everybody. We're gonna be showing you the changes to Conqueror
All
and
right, let's see.
SHAOLIN right now that are coming up in the next testing grounds.
Let's see
So
it.
we're gonna start with Conqueror. So for Conqueror, we took a slightly less heavy-handed approach for the character this time around. We wanted to make sure we did a testing ground again because there's some changes in here that are quite large.
Now, this is coming
So
from
we
a
wanted to
guy
make
who
sure
actually
everything was okay and we're all
liked
happy with
the
them.
previous testing ground. So let's see what they changed.
The idea is that we really tried to focus on addressing what makes Conqueror more frustrating to fight against, and also kind of pushing the character's archetype in 1v1 and in group fights to be a lot more focused.
Now, previous CONQ,
So,
I feel like was really
right
strong. So let's see if they tone him down a bit.
We've actually removed charging heavies in chains.
Okay.
So as you can see, I have my heavy. I'm holding my heavy right now. I can't charge my attacks at all anymore. The reason for that is that it caused It caused too many issues. We had a lot of flickering problems, a bunch of different types of issues.
Okay.
And it added a lot of complexity to the character where the Conqueror actually did not need those. So we decided to remove that. Hopefully everybody's gonna be happy with it, but the character doesn't end up needing it after all. We've also removed the undodgeable from those chained heavies. So Alex,
wait, what?
We're not gonna actually dodge them, right? So because of that, again, those undodgeables were kind of oppressive. People were complaining. We had got a lot of complaints about it, and it was a bit too strong. So we decided to remove it. And on top of that, it again did not feel that necessary with the rest of the changes that are coming.
Okay, there's different changes. Okay, go ahead.
Big that we've done is we've removed the infinite light, right? So if I mash light, I stay and I end my light.
Wow.
So I only have 2 lights. I have a light finisher basically now. So the thing here is that infinite lights feel really bad at low level. They're kind of players constantly get hit by them. It's difficult to react to on lower end hardware.
All right, Reddit, you got your change. You happy?
Not as used to the game. And at top level, they're completely useless. Players can react to them, parry them, whatever, and it's not a problem. So we've decided to remove that.
Man, how else am I going to punish these scrub comps?
Quite working anyway.
They like to mash light and not parry it.
But one of the things we've done is that shield bash, which you can have now. You can do it after any attack, including light finishers. So if you do like a heavy, you can do shield bash. You can do light into a shield bash. You can do heavy as before into a shield bash. But let's say you do a light finisher, like here. I get a shield bash afterwards, right? So that's kind of like the interesting here is that CONQ can actually extend his chains even if he does lights at the end and keep going. So we wanted to keep that bit of pressure there, but not be overly overwhelming. The next thing that's quite big is that the flail uppercut, which is the follow-up after a shield bash, is no longer, you do light afterwards, yeah. So it's no longer armored or unblockable, and it now has a stance. Reason for that being that CONQ is not a ganker. Like when nobody's expecting Conqueror to gank, nobody's expecting those types of things to happen. Yet it was actually quite strong in the testing grounds that we had before. So we've decided to eliminate that aspect as well. Another thing that we've done is that so we had in the previous testing grounds that you could dodge cancel out of the recovery of full block stance like this. We've actually removed this. It created weird wave dashing opportunities where you could throw an attack, cancel a recovery by this, and then dodge out of it, and you were able to avoid a bunch of different things here. So there's a little bit more delay also when you exit full block stance.
Okay, that's fine.
Here it's so that you don't get.
We got to get back into the positives.
Because the way it worked is you could get actually a faster recovery in some cases by just tapping down in your recovery. You can go like this, tapping down, and then you would just tap down really quickly, and you will recover faster than if your heavy actually ended their recovery. So there's 100 ms more at the end of that recovery, and that works quite well. We've also lowered the damage of the unblockable charge heavies from neutral. They used to deal 32, now they deal 28. Again, it's more.
It seems like they're just gutting him now.
Here.
Where's the positives?
It made no sense to deal that much damage, and it also has less range. So now this is gonna hit, but if I go a little bit further out, Alex goes a tiny bit further. Yeah, so we reduced the range on this. So we had problems in the previous testing grounds where you could charge your heavies, and then you had so much forward movement that you can actually do off-screen hits with it. So you can imagine an unblockable that deals a lot of damage. Coming from off-screen, that's hard to react to. Didn't make a lot of sense.
I'll be streaming to the end of this stream.
We've taken care of this as well. The other change that we also have is that the shield bash in chains does not move forward as much as it used to. Again, we don't want to have characters really rely hardcore on this to be able to initiate pressure in group fights when you're outnumbered. So with this, you also get rid of like off-screen type of problems that we had. So that helps there quite a bit. Last but not least, we've actually put dodge forward bash back to 100 milliseconds from the front dodge. It used to be at 300 in previous testing grounds. So the idea here is that we wanted to make sure that Conqueror actually has a lot more pressure from neutral without giving him like extra dodge attacks and forwards or whatever. So with this, the mix-up that actually works on live right now works on Conqueror, and it works quite well. So we've decided to keep it and keep the idea here. And oh, one last thing before I forget, zone attack. People felt it was lackluster because it costs too much stamina, etc. So now the change we've done is that it costs 20 instead of costing 40 stamina. So that makes quite a difference here as well. You can use it a lot more.
Those are the only two benefits I see here.
Underwhelming. So the game plan for Conqueror in this testing ground basically is you want to land as many shield bashes as you can, right? So you can do it from here, you can do it from sign dodge, you can do it in chains.
That doesn't make any sense.
Like. Whenever you land a shield bash, you get
Isn't that what they wanted to get away from?
And once you've gotten that flare uppercut, you are frame advantage, which means that you actually can do flail uppercut into heavy feinted guard break, and if your opponent tries to dodge it, you're able to guard break them in most cases. And in the cases where you can't, so for example here what I'm going to do is
I don't get it.
Flail uppercut into a heavy that I'm going to let go. And I can go into my down stance and block attacks. So against some characters that have faster dodge attacks, such as Shaman, you can, instead of doing feint to guard,
what was the point? Y'all are forgetting the point.
With down stance, you're able to block the dodge attack. Everything works quite well. And so the idea is, that's it. So you can go do a shield bash into a light, into another light, into a shield bash, and do whatever you'd like. And it works really well, right? So
this is why I like the previous one.
You get a lot
this
of
is why I like the
here,
previous update
have your
because you could actually
you want to force your opponent condition to try to parry your heavy. Right?
Use your chain
after a heavy.
You're going right back to what.
If Alex doesn't parry this, right? Then the problem that he has is that I go back into another mix-up if I want. I can go into another bash here and keep going. And so Alex constantly has to make the choice here to dodge or not dodge. If he dodges, I can feint the guard break or feint into my down stance, try to beat things. I can bait parries with these things. I can do a lot of different things that are like super interesting. It works super well. And we've managed, what we wanted to do was reduce the complexity and the amount of crazy properties the hero had while keeping the identity of the hero intact, which was basically a lot of shield bashes. People like this. It works well.
I'm not mad.
And, we want to have the Conqueror be super proactive. If you want to be able to actually deal damage,
yeah, this is probably decent offense, right?
Aggressive.
I'm not mad at that. I'm mad that we're going right back into
So that's it for Conq. We're gonna look at
bash
Shaolin
or no
next.
bash.
Okay, cool. So welcome back, Alex.
That's
we're
what
I
like.
Shaolin now, and what the changes.
Before
are
it was
coming
different.
To the testing ground.
You could go light, unblockable, feint. GB. Okay, go back into light, undodgeable, heavy. Oh, you're trying to dodge? Okay, you're sitting still now. Now I'll bash. Go back into it, charge unblockable, let it rip.
Live,
that was more engaging.
Do, as soon as your opponent knows the character, they're always.
That's why I like it. It was strong, yeah. It was super strong, sure.
There was not really,
but at least it was better gameplay
because the options were not great. So we also tried to improve that side.
No one's saying it's a bad rework. No one's saying that it's a bad rework, Kay.
Take a look at the
what we're saying
openers.
is it's the same comp we have now.
One
it's
thing
all
that we
bash.
did was make the top light enhanced.
We were looking for a different style of gameplay.
So
no one's saying that it's bad. It's a good rework.
Key stands from there.
Bad gameplay.
And you can also keep your chain going if you want. Yeah. The other thing that we did for the character's opener is now the side dodge heavy can flow into key stance, and it can also go into your chains.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a way better option, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah. Then next we're gonna take a look at the key stance itself. So we did a lot of improvement there.
It's gonna be
the first thing that we did
viable.
was to make sure that we have attack parity here,
Conq
because
will be
before your
just
top and side attacks would all be different, but now all the lights are the same, all the heavies are the same. So let's take a look at the light first. They're now all 500 ms, and they're all enhanced now. So if we go, let's say here, yeah, see that it's enhanced. So that should be a bit better from there.
I'm still not playing Shaolin, but
whenever the Shaolin was doing the side lights, it was even worse because they were 700 ms, so it was just a free parry every time.
Right.
Now for the heavy, they're now all 800 ms and undodgeable, and that goes for the top as well. The top before was 1200 ms, I think, and unblockable, and the sides were 600 ms, which was a bit weird since you can find them as well. But now they're all at 600.
Okay.
And they're all undodgeable. The other thing is, wait, sorry, the kick is the same as before, so
good.
So that's it. Then what we did is take a look at the sweep attack.
I didn't want them to change the kick.
On live right now, the sweep can only be done after a kick,
solid,
which doesn't make a lot of sense.
That makes everything
so
solid.
we removed that, and instead we put the sweep after any key stance attack. So either you do kick light sweep, or you do kick heavy sweep, or kick light sweep. Sorry, or light sweep, like that.
Hey, okay, all right. Oh, it's gonna be tough.
So the sweep is 800 ms now, but it can now be feinted, which was not the case before. So that's the first bash that's not chargeable.
Ooh, that's nasty.
Feintable.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So that,
that's
that
nasty. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, that's nasty. That's nasty.
Also,
that's nasty.
One last thing is that
that's nasty.
The sweep can now go to a dedicated follow-up instead of go to your opener. But that dedicated follow-up can now chain, or it will go back to key stance itself. So you get a flow going back and forth to your chain.
That's nasty.
And to key stance, basically.
Oh, yeah, Shaolin's a problem.
So
yeah,
that's pretty much it for the...
Shaolin's a problem.
For the main
Shaolin's
character
gonna be
flow.
a problem.
Just having all
the Shaolin mains, y'all having time of your lives right now. Yeah, it's another character that I gotta figure
accessible and strong.
Yeah, it's super interesting to see like that flow. Just that little tweak that we did of adding that sweep after the key stance attack
my goodness. Okay.
A huge difference. The character feels a lot better.
Okay,
you got
so
a lot more pressure in 1v1s. And what's interesting to it that
if
because
I
it's
get
feintable,
hit
right?
in
You
key
can feint the guard
stance,
break, or you can
I need to be ready to either dodge or be mindful of the sweep feint.
Out of that sweep,
if I get hit from the sweep, I'm back in the mix.
Right? So if you want to have and put that pressure and go towards that, then you can always go back. It feels really good.
Okay.
So next up, I think we have some quality of life changes as well.
Yeah, exactly. So first off, we took a look at the sprint attack. Before, it was a bit weird. You could not really link to any attack.
That looks like true offense right there.
It was
like
really
dependent
deal
with that sweep.
How you hit it.
That's what it's looking like. You gotta
and
deal
how
with
you
that.
press the buttons. Like if you switch stance, it wouldn't work. If they were already in the right stance, I think they would block it. So it's kind of messy. So we made it so that the branching is a bit more comfortable to the player. Then talking about comfort, we removed the true timing restriction on the triple side light.
That's good.
Yeah, like
that's actually good.
So now you can just smash it; it's gonna work.
Yeah, it's similar to what
but you can also just hold it to go to.
It makes the character a bit more accessible to newer players. I remember I had that issue when I first played Shaolin for the first time ever.
Yeah. It's way more comfortable, that's for sure. The other thing that we did was to remove the unblockable heavy after the kick. And the reason for this is because it was not really it was a terrible option. Like you would always go for the guaranteed damage. But now with the sweep, it's even more true because you can get your guaranteed damage and still have the unblockable feint mix-up with the sweep. So the heavy didn't have its place on the character kit. Also, another change that we did was allow the player to dodge from key stance. So that way you won't have to press B before end.
Okay.
So it should be a bit more comfortable, and it also makes the key stance a bit better because it means that you have some defensive options out of it as well.
Yeah.
Because before you would always get guard broken or bashed out of it. So now you have a little extra option.
Okay.
Yeah, and that works really well too, because like at some point you're able to use it better in group fights, and because the dodge attacks also now always lead to key stance as well, it's kind of like the feeling of we always want to get everything to go back to key stance. We're improving key stance, so we're really trying to center the character into hardcore. Going, okay, so I want to have ways to go into key stance. When I'm in key stance, I want to be able to apply pressure and then go back into key stance in 1v1s, and also make the key stance a little bit better to use in group fights when you're outnumbered. So that's kind of interesting there. I think we also have changed the dodge it to a zone attack, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the problem that we had with zone attack before was that it was a bit of a weird and frustrating move, especially for a newer player, because the timing made it so that you couldn't dodge in between hits. Sometimes you couldn't parry. Sometimes it would be guaranteed. Like it was just a very, very strange move. So now we slowed it down, but we also drastically improved the trajectory, so it should be a bit better whenever you're outnumbered. And also, we made it so that you could target swap.
You have to uninstall if you get hit by all three.
So then you're able to just move your trajectory.
It's actually mandatory.
So it
if
should
you get hit by all 3 hits in that zone, you have to uninstall.
Much more easier to use and way less frustrating than before.
Yeah, what's kind of interesting now, like you can throw it at me and I can dodge like all, like if I get hit by the first one, I can dodge again, no problem. What was happening before was that if the second hit landed, like actually hit you, like the third hit was guaranteed, and if you blocked the second hit, the third hit would be auto blocked. And so it created all sorts of weird situations where like it looked like you might have had an option, but in fact you didn't. So with this, yeah, it's a little bit slower, but it's a lot more consistent. And with the additional buffs, with like lower stamina costs, higher damage, better trajectories, target swappable, we're really hoping that it's gonna push that move to a higher level than it ever was. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's about it.
Yeah.
We're really hoping that this should improve the flow and make the character way better. During our playtest, like everybody seemed to be enjoying the character way more than before, and we hope you do too.
All right, so thank you. We're gonna get back to
SHAOLIN
Josh,
was good.
And, we'll see you in a minute.
I mean, listen, guys.
And there you have it, folks. That
Both
is
reworks
the testing grounds that will be going live on March 31st. JC, do you have any final thoughts on everything before we?
It's going to be very good, very usable.
I'm super
You'll
excited.
You'll be able to win matches.
As everybody's seen,
just fine.
The reworks.
Same with
really
SHAOLIN.
Awesome.
SHAOLIN got a lot better, but the gameplay for
SHAOLIN in particular,
I'm not interested.
We had a lot of work.